Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Apex E-Series Showdown here on Rebel Racing Network. And I'm Eddie Smith, and I just want to welcome everybody watching, all the drivers here tonight, as we're going to take on a really, really fast track, and we're going to bring all the action for you right here on Rebel Racing Network. I want to thank Apex Sim Racing Custom Gear for their sponsor of this series, and looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Qualified just now, about to be over. Just a couple more minutes left in this thing, and fighting off, trying to get these track shots up for you, which is always great to have issues early on. I don't know why that happens, but here we are, man. Professional as always, man. Just coming in hot, flubbing in the intro. Love it. But, man, Nashville Superspeedway, going to be a fun race. Not one of my favorite tracks, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit. As, they call it a super speedway, but it's only 1.333 repeating, of course, miles long. So not quite a mile and a half, not quite a short track. It's something else. It's a little bit in between. Concrete, not asphalt. It was opened in 2001, but kind of redesigned in 2021. Just sort of a facelift for this track. It kind of got put to the wayside, and heck, we're back racing at it. And the Nashville market is such a important market, I think, for NASCAR. The country routes, the southern routes, all kind of settle in here, and I think this is a great track to be at if we can't be at the fairgrounds, which I think is coming pretty soon. But here tonight at Nashville Superspeedway, this track is very, very technical. It's going to require a lot of throttle control, a lot of patience on the throttle, and it's almost like a slot car track. You drive down in the corner and you're trying to make sure you keep the speed up, but you don't want to get on the gas too soon and find yourself spinning out off the corner. So really important that you hit your mark, especially with the trucks, without the horsepower of other vehicles. So gonna be a lot of fun to see who can come out on top and who can kind of conquer this sort of unique track. But getting ready to get the grid going here. We just got qualifying over with, so we'll jump right into the grid and get this thing going. Let's see who is on the front row. The Chuck Pegleg Pole Award winner is going to go to Garrett Kinder in that 13 Ford F-150. And right outside the front row is qualifying. Finally qualifying. He's going to get on the front row, and that's Ray Rogers. Starting in row number 2, Garrett Kinder is not in row number 2. Let's go. What's going on? Tracy Passons and Alan Nash. Kip Easley, Willie Evernham, Charles Stevens Jr., and Josh Lokovitz. In this row, it's Garrett Kinder and Ray Rogers. No, it's Chris Bedwell and Chuck Pegleg Feltz. George C. Williams going to start in the 11th position. Aaron Adcock starting in the 12th position. 13th is Stephen Ayers Jr., and outside of him is going to be Kyle Roberts in the 14th position. Chris McLean starting in 15th. Alan Smith starting in 16th. Starting 17th, Matt Rogers, and bringing up the rear of the field is Anthony Edgerton. Well, everybody is getting ready to roll here, getting out on track. Sun is going down. It's going to be a beautiful night, and we've got 135 laps here to settle this thing. Round number 13 of this season, which has just been a fantastic season so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing the playoffs, getting that rolling, and seeing who's going to take home the championship this year. There's your race analysis. Fixed setup, 135 laps, 1 fast repair, 2 green-white checkered. Stage is at 30 laps, and you can look to see about 38 to 41 laps on fuel, so be paying attention to that. We should transition into the night, and we are going to be screaming around this track by the time this race is over with. Pace car pulls off, and Garrett Kinder going to lead us down to the green flag. And green flag is out here at Nashville. Get your guitars out. We're about to roll. So far, so good through turn number 1. It's easy to spin out. Oh, and you see Willie Evernham gets into the wall. No caution, but Willie Evernham gets loose and gets up in the wall, and I was just about to say it. You got to be careful on these cold tires. It gets extremely loose, and he is going to have some big damage. He had a hard hit, and he falls all the way back to 16th place. But the early troubles for Willie, as we've got a battle here between Kip Easley and Alan Nash. That's for the 4th position. Kip Easley already moving up a spot. He's ready to go as Garrett Kinder leads us the first lap. We'll try to go back and see exactly what happened to Willie as he gets a little bit loose and tries to catch that thing, goes right up into the wall. We'll give it to you on the picture-in-picture so you don't miss any of the action, as looks like Kip Easley has been able to take over that 4th position. Let's look at the Rebel Racing Network picture-in-picture. You see that red and white 91 there on your screen. You're going to see him go down in the corner right here, just going to gas it up, just get a little bit loose, overcorrect that thing, pancake the wall. And he hit it pretty good, so he is going to need to come down pit road, which is what he is doing right now. Willie Evernham on pit road, trying to get some damage fixed, most likely get a faster pair, I would imagine. So tough start there for Willie there. It looks like Chris McLean has disconnected. If it's like he didn't even start the race. Yeah, he's in chat saying I'm having technical difficulties. So disappointing start for Chris McLean, your points leader. But he's pretty solid in the playoffs. I would think it's okay for him to have some technical difficulties. I know he wants to get in here and race, but maybe he can get in here and unlap himself. But I think this is going to be one of those races that goes green. I foresee that, even though we've seen one guy get loose. Once you get a couple heat cycles in these tires, they start to really tighten up. And I think we'll see this kind of go long. I expect to see quite a few green flag pit stops tonight. So going to be one of those strategy races that'll be a lot of fun to see. But so far, Garrett Kinder, Ray Rogers, top 2 with Tracy Passons, Kip Easley, Alan Nash, rounding out your top 5. And kind of getting single file here, and that's kind of what you have to do as you want to be down right at that yellow line. I don't know if the groove will move at all. You know, from what I've seen out of this track, it's just a little bit too flat in the corners to really get up on that high side. You might see some guys be a lane up as long as they're in that dark area on the track, but any more than that, and you're just asking for trouble. There's also a bump into turn 3 that these guys are going to have to contend with all night long. You see Kip Easley gets a great run through the middle, but you see just how tough it is to get through the middle off. He actually loses a little bit of time there as we watch him go around this track. Right behind him, we got Alan Nash, who we got him on camera tonight, so we'll show him, see what he's got going on as he looks to try to get a win here tonight. Running in the 5th position. But you see he got a run there. Didn't want to take it. Maybe being a little bit patient here. Don't want to take every run you can get. Maybe pull away from the pack. Try to stay with this lead group. Trucks can have sort of a drafty type feel at a lot of tracks, and I think this one's very similar. The only difference is with it being so tight and the track being kind of flat, track position is going to be a big deal. Garrett Kinder right now has the best downforce out of these top 5, as he has a clean windshield out front. He's not dealing with dirty air. These guys back here are going to have to be contending with that. And while on new tires, not a big deal. As the run goes on, it'll be tighter and tighter and tighter. And it'll be so much difficult in traffic. So it's okay to wait for a little bit, but if you can get up there and get that track position, I think that's going to be really important. But only 9 laps into a 135-lap race. Patience sometimes can really reward you. So we'll see what Alan Nash decides to do here as he kind of falls back a little bit from Kip Easley. Chris Bedwell right on the back bumper. Take a look at your standings real quick. Chris Bedwell is your points leader. I said Chris McLean, but it's actually Bedwell who McLean has missed a race. So he is sitting second, but he's got 3 wins. Chris Bedwell also with the win. And so he is good in the playoffs. it's just a couple other drivers that love to get a win tonight and maybe find themselves. You look one more time, Charles Stevens Jr. is running in 7th. He'd love to get a win, get himself locked into the playoffs. And you got some drivers down here towards the back that would love to jump, kind of leapfrog the competition, not have to worry about pointing their way in. Somebody like Aaron Adcock is who I would expect to see maybe try to do a little bit of strategy, get up front, and get that win. Right now, it's still all Garrett Kinder started up front. Hasn't really changed for the top 3. Tracy passing right there in tow. You start to see Kip Easley drop back just a little bit in that blue truck. Yeah, interesting to see. Tire fall-off is going to start to be an issue here. And we'll see how long it takes for these guys to really get spread out. And who's able to save tire, who's taking it a little bit easy, who's pushing it a little bit too hard. Man, we got 3 wide back here for 4th position. Kip Easley's got it. Man, Alan Nash and Chris Bedwell, they want it. Alan going to have to drop back behind this little group here, but trying to get a run here on Bedwell. Look at this battle. Battle for 4th here. Here comes Chris Bedwell down to the inside. He is making up the most spots out of anybody. Bedwell started in 9th, currently in 4th. He's made up 5 spots, so he is really moving here early on. Now, Bedwell has kind of been sort of the way that he's kind of raced the last few weeks. Been starting mid-pack, driving up to the front, but he really has to abuse his tires to get up there and get to the front. So we'll see if he can make this last. One thing I do like about Nashville is a lot of people talk about that, talk about the right front most of the tracks that we go to. And, I wonder, in the Xfinity car, you really had to worry about that right rear. You just didn't want to spin the tires off the corner. It's very easy to get loose like we saw with Willie Evernham. So I think you'll see, especially as the sun starts going down, the track was pretty cool at 100 degrees earlier, and the sun is still, it's started to set now. And I think tire wear really not going to be a big issue. I think if the tires wear pretty even, I think the truck, will stay balanced throughout a run. This track is almost like a road course. It feels like you just have to hit that line every lap. It's so hard to hit the line. It's a very technical track. You got to drive down in the corner. You got to lift off the gas to make sure you get through the middle, but you also got to get on the throttle and get the drive off the corner without getting loose. It's a very tough line to hit every time. I think consistency is what matters the most tonight. And so we'll see if Chris Bedwell's got that consistency to continue this trend up towards the front as he is able to get past both those drivers. But here comes Alan Nash back trying to look on the inside and make a move here. Bedwell probably waving his hand out the window going, hey, let's catch these guys in front of us before we start battling and lose a little bit more time. We'll watch Alan Nash go a lap around with him as we watch kind of what the line looks like. Drive pretty deep into the corner. You don't want to go in too easy. It's just such a wide, Dover-like corner. You want to drive deep into the corner, but you have to slow up enough using the brake and get that thing slowed up so you don't push up in the middle. If you push up in the middle, like right here, and not able to get on the gas, it really scrubs the speed off. You see Tracy Passons up there in that black truck do exactly that, and you see the run that he does not have down the straightaway. These guys are really getting a nice momentum off of turn number 4. Looks like Tracy's starting to struggle in that 53 machine as he is falling back into the clutches of these two drivers. But Garrett Kinder, Ray Rogers starting to pull away. No surprise there, as now Bedwell all over the back bumper. Bedwell actually was right there, kind of checked up a little bit. And you see, kind of set him up. Going to try to get the run off of turn 4. He's going to have the run down the straightaway. Going to poke his truck out to the outside, try to make a move up there. Oh, Tracy closes the door as they go down in the corner, and Bedwell's going to get out of the groove. I think that's going to be tough to do. We'll see. Tracy blows the corner, so opens his door for both these trucks. They're going to be 3 wide down the back straightaway. Alan Nash backs out of it and going to let Chris Bedwell take over that spot. Tracy trying to fight and get back into this thing. But you can see he's really sailing the truck down in there, not getting woed up enough, and that's really hurting him through the middle off the corner. So he's actually going to lose both spots here after 21 laps. So Tracy back from third back to fifth in just a half a lap. And that's how quickly things can change here at Nashville. Now up front, got a battle for the lead as here comes Ray Rogers, somebody who normally starts in the back. Always talking about him coming up through the field, taking care of his stuff, being there at the end in the top 5. And Ray Rogers is the king of starting in the back and finishing fifth. I mean, he's so good at racing. He seems to enjoy driving up through the field. But tonight, going to start outside the front row. And we're seeing the real strength of Ray Rogers as he is lightning fast. And if he can start up front, he is going to contend for this win. And he's already made the move on Garrett Kinder. Kinder, knowing that you cannot let Ray Rogers get away, goes down to the inside to try to maintain that track position. It's going to be so important to keep that lead. And, man, look at Ray Rogers with the run off the corner. I think he about had him cleared on the outside. So Ray looks like his tires are still doing pretty good, but Kinder is doing a great job of making sure he doesn't lose that lead. Oh, is he still there? He almost got the clear. You know, this is really good for Garrett. If he can keep Ray Rogers on the outside, that really heats the tires up on that 51 machine. So Garrett in a pretty good spot. He just needs to stick with it. But a great battle here for the lead as Garrett starts to slide up just a little bit in the middle of the corner, but Ray holding strong on the outside. That 51 Toyota is hooked up, man. His tires seem to be doing him really well as they go down in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 seems like it's a little bit tougher to maintain that outside line, but he does get a great run down the front straightaway almost every time, and he will lead that lap too. Garrett doing everything he can. It's such a fine line. Garrett is in a tough spot. Ray's got all that track up there to use, but Garrett has to put those left sides right on that yellow line, and that's really where he has to run. If he pushes up a little bit, could make contact and not be able to get a run off the corner. And, man, what a great battle we got going on here. And that's bringing Chris Bedwell, Alan Nash right into the fold. And so they're loving to see this. But Ray Rogers almost has Garrett Kinder cleared here. And I think he might get him off the corner with the momentum if he's able to keep the RPMs up, and he does. So Ray Rogers, now your leader, takes over the top spot after a good 4-lap battle between him and Garrett Kinder in the 13. What a great battle we watched there. Look, if that's what's on the buffet, I'm going to have seconds. So now the field's in trouble. Ray Rogers takes over the lead, and when that happens, it is very, very tough to run him down on the long run. Not really sure there's too many people who can outrun him on a long run set of tires. Now we're about 10 to 15 laps away from green flag pit stops. So if you're Garrett Kinder, try to stay with him. Don't let him get too far ahead. Don't try too hard. Just try to maintain, stay in that draft, and readjust when you get down pit road. Realize what maybe you did to hurt the tires a little bit, and get that fixed up. Somebody else moving through the field, Josh Lokovitz. Man, he is scooting right now. Started on the back half of the top 10, but he has now found himself up into the 5th position as Tracy Passons continues to backslide and continues to kind of fall back a little bit. As Kyle Roberts, you see him right there in that 35. He is 3 laps down, so obviously some sort of issue with him. So he is a lap down truck, but Josh Lokovitz, man, look at him. Looking burly, looking focused. Is we're getting about 4 or 5 frames per second out of that camera. Which that may be me, I can't tell, but Kyle Roberts goes down to the inside. Of course, this is not a battle for position, so if Kyle's got a little bit fresher tires, which he might. Oh, caution's out. Oh, this is for the stage. Oh, Lord. My apologies. Stage is over. Sorry, Ray Rogers. Had a brain fart. And, man, that is your stage one winner, one and only stage for Ray Rogers. He's going to win that one here tonight as they get woed up for this caution. And you can see your top 10 there. Ray Rogers, Garrett Kinder kind of swap positions. Chris Bedwell did a great job there on getting up to third position. Alan Nash going to be fourth. Josh Lokovitz fifth. Tracy Patson sixth. Aaron Adcock, another big mover, up to seventh. So those guys did a lot of work to move themselves through the field, and now they'll be able to get a reset with the tires and try to continue to move up towards the front. We definitely don't have to worry about them pitting in the next 10 to 15 laps, like I said, because there's a stage break. So what do we do under stage breaks? We go down, we get 4 tires, we get fuel, and we look at our tires, decide, okay, did I burn the right front off? Did I burn the right rear off? Was it pretty even? Did I, if I'm riding in the back and saving my tires, that's good. Talk to your teammates. Maybe you're saving too much. Maybe you're not pushing as hard as you need to. All things that you can do on a stage break to give you a little bit of momentum, and you're going to need it because who knows? I mean, may never get another caution. And so now if you're going to make any kind of adjustments with the throttle, maybe a little brake bias adjustment, change your line a little bit, all that needs to be done right here, right now, because you may not get another chance. 4 tires of fuel, get in your box. We'll see who wins the battle off of pit road. Ray Rogers came down first. You're going to see Chris Bedwell try to race them guys off pit road. The race here is for second. It looks like Garrett Kinder is going to get that position. So the top 3 going to stay pretty much where they went in. Like Josh Lokovitz loses a spot here to Tracy Passons as maybe a little bit slow on the pit stop, Lokovitz was. So I don't know if he had any damage. Everybody was in their box for about low to mid 14 seconds. And Josh Lokovitz 15.8 seconds in his box. So slow pit stop. Not sure if he fixed any damage, what exactly he did, or maybe just got a bad dice roll on that pit stop. iRacing has a variance in the pit stop, so when you go down, it's not the same stop every time, just to try to give you that feel of, hey, your pit crew is not going to do the same thing every time. There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be a little bit slower, a little bit faster, and iRacing sort of builds that in, so you never really know what you're going to get when you go down pit road. There's some rules. If you get pretty much dead even straight in your box, that usually gives you a better chance of getting a better pit stop. If you're kind of sideways, you're sitting crooked, get a little bit too close to the wall, all those things can affect your pit stop just like they would in real life. So I think it's really cool they do that. I think that adds another level of realism that keeps things interesting. It's cool every once in a while to get that fast pit stop and be able to race your competition off pit road and maybe gain a spot. So Tracy Patson is able to get that done and get that spot. But up front, Ray Rogers, we're doubled up, getting ready for the restart. In a couple laps, lights are still on the pace car. So a couple of our big movers, we'll see how they're able to continue that. Chris Bedwell, Aaron Adcock, they have both moved up some spots. Lokovitz loses one on pit road, but he seemed really fast towards the end of that thing. I think somebody who is going to have to reevaluate is Tracy Passons a little bit. It seemed like he was really good early on, just kind of riding in third, but started to lose the top 2 after about 15 laps or so. So we'll see if he's able to maybe change something up, figure out what he's doing wrong, get that thing back rolling. As we have 100 laps to go. That was just a warm-up, and now we get into the real meat of the race. The sun's starting to set and go down. Track's going to start to cool off. It's going to change a little bit. The grip level is going to go up. It's going to get a little bit tighter. Going to have to pay attention to that and adjust accordingly. But I think, when that happens, I think the tire wear just starts to not really matter. I'd be interested to know what these guys' tires were. But when we were in practice, the track was at 100 degrees, which is not too bad, pretty normal. But right now, as the sun is setting, track temperature down to 79 degrees. That's chilly. So got some people in chat. Got Alan Smith watching he's in the race, but watching from the car. Chris McLean having technical difficulties. I think he's finally in the race. He is. So good to see him here. Pace car going to pull off, though. Ray Rogers going to lead us down to the green flag for the start of stage 2. And gets a great restart in the Geico restart zone. Gets a good jump. Garrett Kinder actually doesn't get a great restart. He's got Chris Bedwell all over. And he's actually going to go by him here as the 13 might try to do. Oh, and the third. Oh, they're loose. Oh, Garrett Kinder and Tracy Passons. Oh, and it's a big wreck as Tracy goes around. Everybody able to pretty much dodge that, but Tracy Passons, you see him. Or who was that? Oh, that's Alan Nash. Excuse me. I called Tracy out, but it was actually Alan Nash who goes around along with Garrett Kinder. Their trucks look so similar that Alan Nash was the one that was spinning back through the field. So immediately on those cold tires, talked about it early, got to be careful. Those tires can really get a little sketchy. And it looks like Garrett Kinder was trying to get down and do a little crossover on Chris Bedwell on that restart as he kind of had a bad start. And we'll watch from on board of Alan Nash and see exactly what happened here on the replay. Kinder Farm and Ranch, of course. You can see it's down, and you see Garrett Kinder's going to try to do that crossover. They get real close. You see both of them right at the same time, just gets loose. And everybody does a fantastic job of avoiding him. Man, that was incredible, as I don't think anybody hit it. So Alan Nash goes spinning through the field, and everybody able to avoid him. So, man, great job by everybody. But, yeah, just cold tires, trying to get all you can get. And both those guys get loose. Garrett Kinder actually was able to save his. And so Alan Nash sort of had the worst end of it. But we'll watch it one more time here as we're still under caution. You see the 13 wants to sneak in there and try to get that. Just those tires a little bit too cool. And both of them go around. And, oh, it looks like somebody did get that white truck up there at the top. Trying to see who exactly that is. I think that it might have been Charles Stevens gets a little bit of that. He might have gotten a little bit of that contact. We'll go check that out from his point of view as well. But outside of that, I mean, minor damage for what it could have been, as it could have been pretty nasty. Let's go check it out from his point of view, though. Just those cold tires, man. They're both going to go around, and I think Charles Stevens just nowhere to go, trying to get slowed up, and makes a little bit of contact, but everybody else able to avoid it. But that 88 machine looks pretty good. I don't see hardly any damage. Maybe a little crinkle on that left front, but overall, pretty good job by everybody else. The field did a great job. Yeah, definitely a great save by Garrett Kinder, which shouldn't surprise you one bit. Well, first caution of the night outside of the stage break. And it came right on the restart of stage number 2. So nobody coming down pit road. Maybe some folks like Willie Evernham trying to get some damage fixed. I can't imagine Charles Stevens feels like the damage is enough to come down pit road. He stays out. So nothing really going to change so far. Chris Bedwell was able to get around that 13 machine, so he'll be on the outside of the front row for this restart. And Bedwell can continue his charge to the front, your points leader. Bedwell's been fast all season long. I mean, he's always fast. It's no surprise. I I wouldn't say he's been dominant, though. I think this season, man, we've seen just such a great spread of winners. As we'll look at this one more time at the rinky-dink standings that I got here. And you can see that win column. It's not dominated by anybody. Chris Bedwell, who is your points leader, only has the one win. But you look at the 8 top 5s, I mean, I think that's where his specialty is. He's just doing a great job of managing the races, getting what he can get, and that's why he sits atop the point standings. And now you see the win totals: 3 for Chris McLean. Garrett Kinder also has 3. Aaron Adcock has the 1. And then Chris Carroll with 3 as well. So, a lot of winners. Kip Easley, also has 1. So, a lot of opportunity for some guys who don't have wins. But you can see, I mean, we have a very competitive, even field this season. And so not one guy really dominating. And, with all those wins on the list there, Chris Bedwell with just the 1 just shows how competitive this field really is. But getting ready for this restart here. Pace car pulls off. Ray Rogers is going to lead you down into the Geico restart zone. And going to get up through the gears. And he gets a great restart. And now it's going to be Chris Bedwell trying to fight off Garrett Kinder, who's now down on the inside. And Josh Lokovitz going to go up to the 3rd lane. Got to make something happen on this restart. Got to be careful. Going to get loose. Here comes Lokovitz on the outside. May kiss the wall just a little bit. He goes to the outside of that 13. I think 13, though, is in the preferred lane at this point. We'll see. 13 able to take over that 3rd position. Hang on to it. See if Lokovitz tries to go down to the inside. He does not. Lokovitz entering in pretty high. Kind of opens the door for Tracy, who goes down to the bottom. Tracy actually gets a little bit of that apron. He's going to slide up off the corner. Going to have to check up, and Charles Stevens going to be right on his back bumper. So close call for the 53. That's something to be watching for. You don't want to hit that apron, and that's exactly what will happen, is you'll bounce up off that apron, be chasing that truck all the way up the track, losing all that speed. And Charles Stevens actually going to pay for it, as he's going to fall all the way back. And Aaron Adcock going to take over that spot. Ray Rogers going to set the fastest lap of the race. Boy, he is really boot scooting. That 51 Toyota is gone. Bedwell, Garrett Kinder may be trying to figure out how in the world do we save the tires like that 51 did on that last run. And he was incredible. And he is starting to really pull away here early. Go check out some battles throughout the field. Got Steve Ayers Jr. You see Chris McLean there in that number 5 machine. 5 Caterpillar machine. Good looking truck. I like that truck. But currently he is 31 laps down. Not going to be able to get back into this thing. But hey, he showed up, won a race. That's what you show up for. Probably going to finish in 18th no matter what. See George C. Williams get passed by Alan Nash, who's working his way back up through the field. Makes quick work of the 40 machine. Right in front of them, Chuck Pegleg Phelps, Charles Stevens, Aaron Adcock, and Kip Easley. This battle has been going on for a while as Alan Nash continues his march to the front. Now he's going to go down to the inside of Aaron Adcock, who gets right to the back bumper of Chuck Phelps, who's going to try to throw a little block there and hold on to that spot. Didn't want to lose it. Chuck's up a couple spots, starting in the 10th position. And he is racing around some guys he spends a lot of time racing. He's actually going to go up to the outside, give the inside down to Alan Nash, who's really, really moving right here, trying to take advantage of this early run. Actually doesn't get a very good run off the corner. He's going to dive down to the corner. I mean, he's really driving way deeper than these other guys. So I don't know if Chuck was really ready for that as they go down in the corner. Kind of caught him by surprise, but Chuck kind of stuck up there on that outside line as now George Williams going to look to the inside. See how dominant that bottom line is. You get stuck up on the outside like he is. Oh, and George Williams going to get a little bit loose on entry and comes up in front of Chuck Pegleg Felts. And, man, very close call there. Chuck did a great job staying off of him. Chuck finally going to land back in the 11th position. It's still running up the track a little bit. Not where you want to be. You want to be right at the bottom, but he's just constantly getting past. Kind of got stuck out there. As it continues to get past, now those two trucks, the 5 and the 35, are laps down, so not losing positions, but up front, though, Ray Rogers with a 7/10 of a second lead over Chris Bedwell, and then about 7/10 back from him is Garrett Kinder and Tracy Passons. I would imagine these guys sort of want to work together here, try to run these guys down up front, but tire wear is going to start to pop up pretty soon. Tracy going to fall back from the 13 machine, so top few drivers start to get spread out a little bit as we've still got some battles going on back here. George Williams way up the track. He's really trying to get that 40 figured out. Let's go on board with him. As you can see, driving pretty deep into the corner, and you're really using that brake to try to keep that truck down on the bottom line. Doing a great job there in 1 and 2. Let's see how he does in 3 and 4. Does a great job there in 3 and 4. So George got the line. It just needs to keep putting it together. A little bit slower than the leader. About 3/10 off the leader's pace, but you see he's starting to run down Charles Stevens. It's a nice little run down into turn 1, makes up a ton of time. Just doesn't seem like he's getting off the corner, maybe not getting on the throttle as soon as he probably could. He's definitely making up a lot of time here as he gets really close to the 88. Having to put a little bit of extra wheel off the corner, that's usually not a good sign, but I know he really wants this position. Try to get that 9th place. He gets a good run there off of turn 2. So, yeah, you look down to the inside. He's got the run. Not going to quite get there before turn number 3. But George, see how hard he's driving in the corner. Charles Stevens sort of doing a little easy entry to try to get a better run off. But able to hold off George there for the time being. Check in on Aaron Adcock, Alan Nash. Those two drivers up to 7th and 8th. As we take a look at our biggest movers of the race right now, Chris Bedwell in that 2nd position. He is up 7. Aaron Adcock right behind him, though, with 5 spots up to the 7th position. Alan Smith, haven't talked about him too much, but we watch Aaron Adcock go to the outside of Kip Easley to try to gain one more spot on the track. Not quite able to do it right there. Going to get a run down off of turn number 2. He's going to get to the inside. And he is there side by side with Kip Easley. Go down in 3 and 4. I don't know if Kip can really hold on to that outside here with the tires as worn as they are. And Aaron able to get off the corner, but here comes Kip. Going to look down to the inside, so he'll be able to make a move. See as they go down into turn one if Aaron can hold on to that spot. Oh, and Kip drives real deep in there and almost make contact, but both those drivers able to get through that corner. Move Aaron up to the 6th position. Talking about Alan Smith, he's also a big mover, up 4 spots. Him and Matt Rogers tied there with Anthony Edgerton, so taking advantage of some of these guys with trouble. And that 3 truck trying to work his way through the field. Matt Rogers right behind this group. You can see those sparks. And it looks like a ghost car back there. That 96 machine having some tough internet issues as he is blinking all over the place. Now Smith able to get around that 12 machine. So George C. Williams, we saw him charging the corner pretty hard to try to get around Charles Stevens for 9th, but it looks like, you know, that charging into the corner really can eat up that right front, especially when you're having to put a lot of wheel into it. And it looks like George has kind of heated up that right front, starting to fall back pretty quickly as Alan Smith able to get around him. Alan Smith talking a little bit before the race said, you know, I'll be glad to get a top 20 in this race, and I think he's got a pretty good chance of doing that. So we'll see if he can get that done. Currently running 11th. Got a little bit ways to go before he can get to Chuck. He's about 1.2 seconds back. But speaking of that, we got a battle here for the 9th position. Is Chuck going to look down to the inside of Charles Stevens? Not quite got the nose there, but Charles can see the intent and knows that Chuck was looking down to the inside, and Chuck was able to make that pass. These guys are on affiliate teams, but they sure do race hard. I mean, there's a lot of respect there, but you know, a lot of competition. You know, the affiliate team, Low Cash, that Charles Stevens is a part of, and then Homeman that Chuck is, work together. But, you know, the competition, you want to be better than the next guy. You want to be the best affiliate team if you can. So those guys will race each other really hard. And speaking of that, we still got this battle going on. Alan Nash able to get around Aaron Adcock. Or, excuse me, Kip Easley. That's not Aaron in between them. That's Chris McLean in that 5 machine, who is still 31 laps down. Alan Nash trying to recover after that mistake when him and Garrett Gander get a little bit loose on that restart. Allen falls all the way back towards the back of the field, has worked his way back up to 7th. Would love to see a caution. He's about 6.2 seconds out of the lead. Going to need a lot of help to get back up to the front. Running about the same lap times as the leaders, but if you run the same lap times as the leader and you're 6 seconds back, it's going to be hard for you to make up any of that time. Going to have to try to make it up on pit road and hope for a caution. Matt Rogers comes down pit road still having major connection issues, so probably either going to pull off or come down and get 4 tires and fuel. I don't know, but I can't even show him on screen. He's blinking out so bad. But on pit road currently. Up front, Ray Rogers, wow, has had a pretty nice lead for a while. Starting to see a little bit of fall off here for the 51. It's hard to really say, but Chris Bedwell has really caught up to him over the last few laps. That time by Bedwell just a little bit faster, starting to sniff that draft, and you see Garrett Kinder right behind him. In the last few laps, they've run pretty just a little bit faster every single lap. So those two in second and third definitely catching Ray Rogers. We'll see if they're able to get to him before pit stops happen. They last pitted on lap 34. You could go about 38 to 40 laps. So looking to see pit stops in the next 10 laps or so. No more stages, so I don't have to worry about making that mistake again, but you expect to see them in the next 10, 15 laps. And you really want to go long tonight, I think, because even with that stage break, if you can go 40 laps, that would put you at 70. And then 70 and 40 would be 110. And then, I think you could make it. So I think you could pit pretty much any time in this window and make it on a couple more stops. Bedwell not quite able to keep closing. He got to about a second, and Ray Rogers started to pick up the pace a little bit. They were a little bit faster. Ray was last lap as we look at the difference. You see Ray Rogers running the exact same lap time as Ray Rogers, which is a good thing. That'd be really weird. But what about Chris Bedwell? You see the last lap, Ray Rogers just a tad bit faster here, as that gap is now extended to about 1.1 seconds. We'll watch as they cross the line and see if Bedwell can do anything to get caught up. He's got Garrett Kinder right behind him, may get a little bit of draft as they cross the line, though. Ray Rogers, 31.414. Bedwell, 31.464. So Ray Rogers starting to pull away. Field starting to be spread out a little bit. We got Alan Smith almost to the back bumper of Charles Stevens Jr., who may be pitting here. Alan Smith really drives in the corner, and here comes Charles Stevens down pit road. So, oh my goodness, and Kyle Roberts is in the grass trying to get down pit road, as Alan Nash, Anthony Anderson both down pit road as well. Josh Lokovitz coming down to make his pit stop. So some of your top 10 coming down to go ahead and make those stops now that the window is open. Tracy Passon's calling to come down pit road as well. So 4 Tires and Fuel, it is wide open. I expect to see the leaders. Now Ray Rogers may stay out a little bit longer to have that advantage of the longer run. But anybody that's not coming down pit road, you might want to do that pretty soon. As here comes Tracy Passons to make his next to last pit stop if we stay green. When does Ray Rogers come down? Now, he's got the advantage of having such a big lead. You know, the only people he's really got to worry about are the 2 right behind him, Chris Bedwell, Garrett Kinder. Aaron Adcock's 3.4 seconds back from them. So while they could short pit and make up some time on the with fresh tires, I mean, Ray Rogers' last lap was a 31.4. His best was a 30 flat. So about a second and a half pace difference between new tires and old tires. It's not as much as you would like to see. You would love to see 3-4 seconds off the pace. But a second and a half is not that much. You're going to make up a little bit of time. But I think with Ray Rogers with this lead and knowing that he's so good on the long runs, that you just kind of run it out to the very bitter end. And anybody that undercuts you and gets out front, I mean, you'll be able to run them down with no issue at the end of the next run. Garrett Kinder going to come down pit road here on lap 74, coming to 75. So Garrett Kinder going to try the undercut and maybe try to get himself out front. We've seen he's got plenty of speed, been able to run with Ray Rogers, especially early on. Ray gets around him. It's really, really tough to get caught back up. So maybe try a little undercut, see if you can get that track position and hold off Ray Rogers. Garrett Kinder going to come off of pit road. Ray Rogers stays out. He has been on track for about 44 laps. I was told about 48 or 38 to maybe 40, but it looks like you can get 44, 45 out of this thing. But Ray Rogers is going to come down pit road. We'll see how it all shakes out once. Pit road is cycled around. Ray Rogers coming down pit road now. Take a little bit of replay at a contact we had between George Williams and Alan Smith. Coming off the corner, you're going to see George Williams getting to the wall a little bit, coming right down in front of Alan Smith. A little bit of contact to the back bumper. They're able to keep it straight, but a close call. Almost had a caution right in the middle of that cycle. That was on lap 75, but they were able to keep it together. But pretty hard hit for George Williams and a little bit of contact on that 3 machine. Ray Rogers comes back out on track in the 6th position, right behind Josh Lokovitz, who pitted about 6 laps ago. So Kip Easley going to assume the lead. They've been out on the track for 46 laps. As here comes Chuck Phelps on pit road. He's coming off now. So just 3 drivers left on track. Kip Easley, George Williams, Steve Ayers Jr. Now I wonder just how will fuel kind of fit into this thing. I think no matter what, I think you can make it on 2 stops, but yeah, I don't see a world where you save enough to make it. We'll go on board with Kip. See, it's on lap 48 of this stint. You can see just how tough those tires are. He's going to come down pit road here and make his stop on lap 80. But Kip going to give up the lead, and I think Josh Lokovitz is going to cycle around to the lead here. So Lokovitz doing a great job. He pitted just a few laps before these guys. Now, how long will his tires hold up? You know, there's a couple plateaus without trying to get too off the wall, too technical here, but in iRacing, the tires sort of have plateaus where they start off with a pretty nice grip level, and then they drop off a cliff and they drop down to the next level, and then you run there for 5 to 10 laps, and then it drops down to the next level, and then eventually it'll just equalize out where you really don't lose any more time throughout the run. But you know, there will be a point here in just a few laps where Lokovitz starts to fall off that first cliff, and then Garrett Kinder, Ray Rogers kind of starting to see it now where they still have that good, they're on the good side and able to turn those quick lap times. You see Lokovitz already struggling a little bit. Garrett Kinder going to look down to the inside, not quite able to get there just yet, but it's just a matter of time. Just 4 laps difference here on these tires. You can see the differences. Lokovitz just moves up out of the groove, lets these 2 go. Now the difference in tires between Garrett Kinder and Ray Rogers is 2 laps. Garrett Kinder, he pitted 8 laps ago. Ray Rogers 6. So very, very close in tires, but Garrett will have the same issue that Lokovitz has. So, you know, Garrett's going to fall off that cliff, and Ray Rogers still going to have a couple more laps of good before he does that. So Garrett's going to have to fight really hard to keep that 51 machine behind him. That clean air just too valuable as these guys assume the lead again. Bedwell actually about a second back right behind Lokovitz. 51 gets a run off of turn number 4. Going to get a little sniff of that draft. Pokes his nose out just to see. Not quite ready. Feels like he's got plenty of tires. I feel like he's got the pedal that he needs. Just trying to be patient, taking his time. Talked about Ray Rogers before the race. I said, man, if he ever just qualifies, man, we're talking about a race, you know, a threat to win every race. And exactly what he did tonight. Garrett Kinder actually said right after that, I don't want him to qualify because he'll be right on my tail. And look here, he's exactly what Garrett Kinder says. He knows just how good Ray Rogers is, and he is going to have to fight like heck to keep that 51 behind him. I just don't think Kinder has got the pace that Ray does. Ray just seems to have this track down to a science. As he gets a run down the straightaway, Ray electing just to kind of ride, try to separate themselves. Maybe work together, try to get out to about a second half lead over Chris Bedwell if you can, and then go ahead and pass that 13. Not have to worry about Chris being too close, but Bedwell not too far behind, able to get around Lokovitz, who's starting to fall back from that set of tires, but I think Lokovitz is having a hell of a run tonight. Currently in the 4th position. He's got 2.3 seconds on 5th place Tracy Passons. Those tires will equalize and should hold on to fourth place, I think, before the next round of pit stops. So Josh Lokovitz, man, showing a lot of speed, a lot of strength here tonight. Up front, though, the battle continues. Ray just kind of taking his time, waiting for the 13 to maybe make a mistake. If not, as long as he's not holding you up and you don't feel like you're losing time by riding behind him, there's no reason to make the pass when you don't need to. Just save your stuff, try to keep him in tow, and if he makes a mistake, you jump on it. And if not, just kind of ride until you feel like it's time to go. But he is right on the back bumper of that 13 machine. See the 13 kind of not be able to get down to the bottom there off of turn number 4. Kind of opened the door for the 51. You saw him maybe try to shoot for that gap. So the 13 showing a little weakness here. About 15 laps into this run on lap 91 of 135. So still a little over 40 laps to go here at this track. Long race tonight. Even with just the one caution and the one stage break, already a little over an hour. We still got 40 laps to go. So I like long races, though. They're so much fun. The strategy is awesome to see how they play out. Who can save the most of their tires, save their stuff, not push the truck too hard, be there at the end. Go back here. Got a battle here between Tracy Passons, Alan Nash, and Aaron Adcock. This is a po boy right here. Here comes Aaron Adcock. Tracy Passons way out of the groove, man. Just struggling here on these long runs. Tracy's just had a tough night as the tires get worn. He seems to be really, really fast early on. Just struggles middle and end of these runs as both Aaron and Alan able to get around him. Alan continues to push his way towards the front. Like they were able to settle it. These guys about 5.7, 5.8 seconds off of the lead of Garrett Kinder. But the lead is still in Garrett Kinder's hands. It just seems like Ray Rogers is kind of playing with him a little bit. I've seen a couple opportunities for Ray to get around him, and Ray just choosing not to. And that's allowed Chris Bedwell to move up into the picture. I wonder if the closer that Bedwell gets, I wonder if Ray will start putting the pressure on the 13. Because it definitely seems like he's a good bit faster. But Ray kind of pulling his punches a little bit, looks like. We'll see, though. I mean, Garrett Kinder is a fantastic racer. If there's anybody who can adjust after a caution and make his truck better with just his right foot, it's Garrett Kinder. But, man, you can see he's really not able to hold that bottom line like Ray Rogers is. He's able to get right on it. Oh, and Ray's going to make a little bit of contact with the wall as they come off the corner really wide. And I think Ray just wasn't able to see the exit as the 13 got wide off the corner too. And a little bit of contact with the wall. That's a scary thing to see happen as these trucks, unless it's been improved here lately, the damage model can be a little finicky. It looks like everybody's still driving pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, just Ray is there. I can't imagine he's going to wait much longer. He's got the run there, decides not to take it. So just electing to ride behind the 13 here. But you see the 13 just not able to get down to the bottom like Ray Rogers is. He's just able to keep the bottom, and you can see the difference. 13 going to throw maybe a little block here. I love to see it. Watches it go down in turn one. Ray Rogers got the left sides right on that yellow paint. You see the run that he can get on the 13. I think it's coming right here. I don't think he's going to wait any longer, and he is going to continue to wait. Definitely an opportunity to pass. Chose not to do it. You see it again. Does a great job of getting low. The 13 just struggling to stay right there on the bottom. Got some lap traffic up here. Anthony Edgerton in that 77 machine. Makes way for these guys. This battle continues on. It's really hard to say what Ray Rogers is really thinking. It's no, I don't know him very well. He's pretty quiet, stays to himself, and he's had plenty of opportunities to get around that 13. I wonder if he's just concerned with how hard that 13 is going to fight, and knowing that 95 is right there ready to pounce, and so you just kind of wait on the 13 to make a pretty major mistake that makes him have to check up. So you can make a quick pass, but you know, as the run goes on, it seemed like you'd want to go ahead and get around that 13 machine. That way you can kind of set sail. And it looks like it's right to the back bumper of him again, but just not willing to make the move just yet. Kinder's doing sort of a defensive line in the middle of the corner, but he's just not able to get the run off the corner that he needs, running about half a lane off the bottom. He gets on the bottom there and does a great job, but, man, he has got to be mirror driving as, man, that 51 is all over his rear bumper. Go around lap traffic. That is Willie Evernham. Moves out of the way, and, man, Ray looks like he wants to go. He's just, I don't know what he's doing. We got Chris Bedwell coming down pit road to make his final pit stop here on lap 103. We're definitely in the window for that last stop. So Chris Bedwell, who's running about 7/10 back from these guys, have come down pit road. Alan Nash also coming down pit road here on lap 104. So looking to do a little undercut, get caught back up. He's probably going to need a caution to get up there and win this race, but he can definitely get a top 3 if he continues on. But this battle, you know, just I'm just blown away because I feel like Ray Rogers had plenty of opportunities, and here they come down pit road together. Garrett Kinder going to get into pit road really hot. Oh, my goodness, going to get sideways down on pit road. Let's see if he sped. We'll have to see if he gets a penalty for that. As they come down, almost like they're synchronized pitting, as they do almost the same thing. The right sides go up on the 13, go down, left side's up. Looks like the 13 is going to have the advantage off of pit road. He does. Yeah, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away because I felt like Ray Rogers had the opportunity to get around that 13. But you know, it kind of bailed out Garrett Kinder, who pitted a little bit earlier. You know, was going to have worse tires than Ray Rogers, but now they're on equal footing, and Garrett Kinder has the track position. So, very, very interested to see how this goes. You see, Chris Bedwell able to come out of pit road with that undercut. He takes over the lead. So a successful undercut for Chris Bedwell. He comes out right at the perfect timing to have the lead here with just 30 laps to go. And Bedwell with a great call. Let's see if he can hold on to it. 2 laps difference on his tires. You can see he's still got the momentum that Garrett Kinder, Ray Rogers just hasn't built up yet. So now it's going to be about half a second back. Let's see if they can make it up. But what a great job by Bedwell. Great call to come on down pit road. And he has a successful undercut. And Ray Rogers now going to fall back to about 0.7 of a second from these two. Now, if I know Ray Rogers like I do, he knows he's got the truck, he's got the speed. And if I know Garrett Kinder and Chris Bedwell like I do, Garrett Kinder does not like to see somebody out there in front of him. He's got a carrot to chase. He can definitely run it down, but I wonder if Ray Rogers is like, yeah, I'm going to let you run down that carrot, let y'all battle it out. I'm going to save my stuff to be there at the end, but you know, it's really hard to say what these guys are doing, what they're thinking, how they're driving, but they seem to be driving pretty hard. Ray Rogers having a hard time keeping up as Garrett Kinder and Bedwell both running flats. You see Garrett Kinder sets the fastest lap of the race, and funny enough, Ray Rogers running a 30.255, who had the fastest lap of the race earlier. So something to be thinking about if you're Garrett Kinder, if you're Chris Bedwell. Those guys are really trying to run away and chase each other. You know, Bedwell's trying to run away from Garrett, and Garrett trying to chase down Bedwell. And Ray Rogers just sitting back there trying to hang on to this draft a little bit and let these guys battle it out. They're not careful. That 51 will sneak in there and get you. But, man, just a great call by the 95 to get around it. Just worked out perfectly. You couldn't ask for anything better. But now you got to close it out. You got the strategy. Your crew chief did you a good job. Got you down pit road on third, come out in first. Now it's in the driver's hands to make it happen, and he's going to have a long way to go as, man, he is really struggling there off the corner. That's allowed the 13 to get right to his back bumper. Bedwell had a horrible lap last time by. Garrett Kinder slowly creeping up to the back bumper of that 95 machine. George Williams currently in the lead. Is he going to stay out? Maybe hope to see a caution. He's yet to make his final pit stop, him and Steve Ayers Jr. We saw that you can go about 45, 46, 47 laps, so George can stay out quite a bit. Now the leaders are catching up him. Oh, we got a battle for what will be the lead once Williams pits. As Bedwell going to, oh man, gets a great run off the corner. Garrett Kinder going to have to fall back in line, but Garrett was right to the inside of that 95 machine, and Bedwell able to hold him off. He's going to slide up the corner off of turn number 4. That's going to give the run to the 13. 13 not quite able to do it. You see George Williams just going to move up out of the way as he is on old tires, just trying to make it, maybe get a caution and get himself some track position. But, oh, here comes Garrett Kinder down to the inside with a late move down into turn 3 and 4. Let's see if he can hold it. Ray Rogers just licking his lips like a shark smelling blood and water. See these guys side by side. That's going to draw him in really quick. Let's go on board with Ray as we watch this battle. You can see just tiptoeing right up to this little lead battle here. Garrett would love to go ahead and complete this pass and move on, but Bedwell trying to hold on to this lead. Bedwell going to get back in line. Ray Rogers is there, but Garrett Kinder now your leader with just 20 laps to go. Who is going to come out on top? Who has learned the most? Who has the best long run speed? I know who the people in the chat are going to say, but I have no idea. I mean, honestly, Garrett Kinder getting around Bedwell at that time was probably the best thing he could do. It seems like he's definitely a little bit faster, and now that gives him the opportunity to kind of pull away and wait for Ray Rogers, who's going to be having to battle the 95. And with 20 laps to go, I mean, nobody's giving any kind of inches. You're going to have to fight for every little spot that you get, especially up front. So a little bit of lap traffic up here for Garrett Kinder. That's always nerve-wracking. Alan Smith actually goes down to the inside, and boy, it is a mess, and he has to check up a little bit, and he loses the lead as now Alan Smith is in the way. Oh, my goodness. Garrett Kinder going to lose the lead as there was lap traffic side by side. And now we have a three-way battle for the lead as Garrett Kinder is going to lose it. Garrett Kinder going to fall all the way back to third position. Try to get a replay exactly what happened. And here we'll see it on the picture-in-picture as we still watch the battle as now Garrett Kinder down to the inside. You're going to see Alan Smith just maybe I don't really see anything that anybody did wrong. It looks like maybe Garrett Kinder was just a little gun-shy with those drivers, just not sure where they were going to go, and just checks up a little bit. But I don't really see anything they did wrong. They were just side by side, maybe just didn't know where they were going to go. But now the battle is between Ray Rogers and Garrett Kinder. Garrett's going to fall back to third place after that. Ray Rogers now looking down to the inside. We've got a battle for the lead now. Is Ray going to try to get that 51 machine? And man, Bedwell just not able to fight at all. And 51 is gone. Just the worst thing that could happen for the 13 and the 95. The 51 able to get by pretty clean. And now the 13 able to get around him as well and sets his sights on that 51 if he can run him down. Let's go back and look at that picture-in-picture and see exactly what happened to Garrett Kinder on board with the 13 machine. You're going to see his truck is a little bit tight right here at this moment, and you're going to see that 62 has his exit, and he's having to turn the wheel a little bit too much. Just needs that whole track to get off the corner, and it just hurts his exit, and that's enough to lose the lead. So that's what happened to the 13. Caused him to lose the lead. Just lap traffic side by side. Guys battling for their own positions. definitely have the right to do that. Just a bad situation, just a tough time to catch a lap car. Now the question is, does Garrett Kinder have anything left in the tank? He's going to have to use every bit of it. With only 12 laps to go, there's really not much saving left to do. I think you got to push and go as hard as you possibly can. Try to catch that 51. At the line, we'll see the laps. You see Ray Rogers just a little bit faster, able to save his tires. Garrett Kinder really needed to be out front to try to defend from this 51, who's obviously going to save his tires just a little bit more. It's going to be really, really tough for Garrett Kinder to make this up. Still able to get a little bit of that draft, but it just seems like the truck's not driving as good as that 51 machine through the middle off. You see, kind of gets a little bit tight, has to really make the front end swing to the left off the corner. That just scrubs speed off. And you see another about a tenth slower last lap. So Ray Rogers pulling away just ever so slightly every lap. Going back here to fourth place, Josh Lokovitz, Aaron Adcock battling here with just a few laps to go. The lead is starting to be all Ray Rogers as Lokovitz stayed out a little bit longer, and that extra couple laps on his tire seems to be what he needs. And look at Lokovitz, man, solidly in a fourth position. They're running an odd line, running that line right in the middle of the track versus down at the bottom. Pretty impressive. I would not want to be running up there, but they seem to know what the heck they're doing. But up front, it is all Ray Rogers. About 6 laps to go here in the race. Ray started in second place, has been in the lead in second pretty much the whole race, battling it out with the 13. 13 gets bottled up with some lap traffic and allows the 51 to sneak by both Bedwell and Garrett Kinder and does a great job. So just has to knock out another 5 laps or so, and he is going to be taking home the victory here in Nashville. And this is always the toughest part. I mean, he's definitely not going to lose the lead. Garrett Kinder has no way of making up the time needed to get to the 51 or even pass him at this point. Just not enough laps. Here at Nashville, I can tell you from experience, it takes almost 15, 20 laps to work somebody over if the aero is really bad, especially at the end of a run. So it's just not enough time for Garrett Kinder. Now, the one thing you will be thinking about if you're Ray Rogers is, I have this in the bag. If this stays green, I'm going to win. There's no way I'm going to push the truck enough that I'm going to get in trouble or get loose, get tight, get into the wall. I'm going to take my time, be easy on it, and I'm going to get there. But there's one thing that could mess this up, and it's that caution. And you're just sitting there praying, guys, don't bring out the caution. You know, don't wreck, don't bring out the caution. Do not want to see it. And You're just sitting there knowing that we make it a few more laps, I'm going to win. But if that caution comes out, it could change everything. Charles Stevens, Chuck Feltz battling it out for 9th and 10th. Charles gets around Chuck for that 9th position. So not the best night for Charles Stevens, who's 2nd in points, but not a terrible night. Going to get inside the top 10 solidly. That's a good points night. Still looking for that win, though. That battle starts to fade as Charles a little bit quicker here towards the end, but Ray Rogers coming to take the white flag. Just one more lap to go. With that white flag, you know you're good at that point. Garrett Kinder running a little bit faster lap times, but just not enough time to make it there. White flag is out. Ray Rogers has to hit his marks one more time to come off of turn number 2. Some lap traffic up ahead, but just pretty far away. Shouldn't be an issue. Goes down into 3 and 4, and Ray Rogers shows his strength when he starts up front. The 51 Toyota going to come off of turn 4, and it's got a huge 1.1 second back. And Ray Rogers going to win here at Nashville in the Music City and takes home the victory. Congratulations to Ray Rogers. What a drive by him. Definitely seems like he was the best truck all night long. Short run, long run, middle run, doesn't matter. He was the man. And, man, a little bit of love from the 13 who comes home in 2nd. Man, what a great race. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of different pit strategies. Yeah, just a great race by Ray Rogers. Just putting on a clinic, showing just how strong he really is. Ray Rogers is going to burn it down on the front stretch as we take a look at our results here tonight. Ray Rogers, Garrett Kinder, and Chris Bedwell, your podium. Man, they just really separated themselves from the field within 2 seconds of each other. Then you got to go all the way back to about 10 seconds back from the leader. Was Josh Lokovitz had a great run, man. What a fantastic run by him. Finishing 4th. Aaron Adcock able to take home the biggest mover of the race and come home in a top 5 position. Tracy Passons in 6th. Alan Nash recovers to 7th. Kip Easley in 8th. Charles Stevens Jr. in 9th. Chuck Pegleg Feltz in 10th. 11th, Alan Smith. Willie Evernham in 12th. 13th is George C. Williams. 14th, Anthony Edgerton. 15th, Stephen Ayers Jr. 16th, Kyle Roberts. Matt Rogers with connection issues decides to go ahead and hop out. And Chris McLean just with some technical issues early on, probably a threat to win this thing. He's going to be 18th, 80 laps down. Well, all right. Well, let's talk to some of our winners. Get some of these interviews going as we start to close out here. Just a fantastic race here at Nashville. Just waiting on these guys to get up into the waiting room. And I tell you, Ray not really running for points, but it's great to get a win. Garrett Kinder, Chris Bedwell, those guys having great points day. And like I said, just want to reiterate, Josh Lokovitz, man, just a fantastic run. He was fast. He was moving up through the field, gained 4 spots where he started, a threat inside that top 5, and then just had a great pit strategy at the end. Had the best tires out of the bunch, and was able to get around Aaron for that 4th position. Just a hell of a run. So everybody's getting into into the waiting room. So let's go ahead and start with our third place finisher, Chris Bedwell, and get him up into chat and see what he thought about this race. Chris, this Eddie in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Got a copy.
Well, man, congratulations on a third place finish. You had to work your way up about 6 spots, started right inside the top 10. Probably not where you wanted to start, but able to work your way up towards the front. And what I thought was just a great strategy call at the end to take, take that undercut and be able to have that lead at the end. But just not able to hold off, but still a third place finish. So congratulations. Talk a little bit about your race and, what you were trying to do to try to make up that track position throughout the race.
Exactly what you said. Just tried to be the one of the first to pit of the top 3, and it almost worked, but they saw me. I think if they didn't see me, I think it would have been better, but they didn't. They saw me, so they pit right after. I guess I had a much better pit entry and pit exit than they did, and I was able to, on that rotation and cycle. There we go. Sorry, it's been a long day, Eddie. On that pit cycle, I was able to get out in front barely, and then just sort of had clean air and was able to run my line. And then eventually, their tires just started being a lot better than mine, and they just went around by me. And then we had a little bit of a lap car get in the way. He was deciding which way he wanted to go, and then it was like, oh man, here's a perfect opening. So I sort of pinned Garrett there behind Alan and was able to get around him again. But then once Ray and Garrett started racing, as soon as Ray got around Garrett, I was like, oh, here we go. Bye, Ray. So, but it was a fun night, just hanging out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're 13 races into this thing and playoffs just looming, and you're locked into the playoffs. But you keep knocking off these top 5 finishes. I mean, I think that's either 9 or 10 for you this season, and that's really impressive. You're kind of the Kevin Harvick of the series this year. You're so dang consistent. Every week you're running up front. Some guys have got more wins, but you seem to be running up front. What do you need to do to get up here and dominate some races? You've been known to dominate races and really take control of them. In the past, what do you need to do? What are you struggling with while you're running great? I mean, obviously you're the points leader, so I'm not saying you're not running bad, but what do you need to do to get up here and maybe get a few more wins to get that confidence up for the playoffs?
Commitment. I don't have a lot of track time, and when I do, I run the Cup car, so the truck is sort of just the fun truck. And I think if I was running more C class races on officials, I think we'd be doing a lot better than what we are. It's kind of for me anyway, I know for some guys it's no struggle at all, but for me it's a struggle to go from an A open setup to a C fix setup, and it takes over half the race to get used to the truck. And that's why my qualifying's been suffering a lot lately too. But about halfway through the race, I finally pick it up, and by then it's too late because by then everybody else has figured it out even more than I already have. But I think if I had more seat time in the truck, I think we'd be right up there. But like Garrett has definitely stepped up his game from last season. Ray's always top of the board. And the other guys, Chris McLean and Chris Carroll. When Carroll feels like racing with us. But yeah, I just think it's need more seat time every week. I only run a truck once a week.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to throw any shade. You're the points leader, and you have the most top 5 finishes out of anybody. So definitely no slouch. But you got to be thinking about towards if you want to make a run for this championship. Most likely, it seems like every season, you got to win the dang last race to get it done. So regardless, you're in the playoffs. You feel confident about that, and then You've definitely got the consistency to get through there. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm making it seem like a negative thing that you're the points leader. You're doing it. You're having a great season. So
I've only won one race, but I can if we make it to Phoenix, it's gonna be that's my best track. So I don't know. I'd be afraid.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, all right. Well, I mean, a fantastic race, a great pit strategy attempt, and just came up a little bit short, and but still an awesome race by you. So congratulations on third place, man. As always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Everybody at home. My wife's working, so got some time alone. Kids are in bed. They were very cooperative tonight. The team, George. George wanted me to say he had everybody covered there at the end. He was real fast, so because he pit real late. Um, Tony for being on the team. He had a solid night, no mistakes. Just small stepping stones to better finishes. And Dana's out with family, and I think Chris Carroll's out playing with balls. So, but everybody on the team is a lot of fun.
Well, all right. Well, congratulations again. That is your third place finisher, Chris Bedwell, as he did a great job, had a great pit strategy, just came up a little bit short. But let's talk to our second place finisher, Garrett Kinder, who comes away with that runner-up spot. Just so close, Garrett. You and Ray going back and forth, and just had an amazing race, but came up a little bit short. A little bit of issues with lap traffic there. Talk a little bit about your race.
Oh yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I could tell early on that there was maybe 5 trucks that were just super competitive, going to be up front and duking it out, and then it kind of dwindled down to me, Ray, and Chris. And man, that was a hell of a fight. That was a good time. And just duking it out, playing some strategy games. That was racing, just through and through. That was some damn good racing.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to get back around Chris Bedwell, and then you're looking at the back bumper of Ray Rogers, and it just seems to just slowly pull away there at the end. Is there anything different that you think you might been able to do to run him down towards the end?
Man, honestly, after that original plan, I got back around Chris after that last pit stop, and I figured, okay, if I can, because I knew I had a little bit of pace on Chris, but not much. And I think Ray was about the same way. So I was hoping that him and Chris would fight a little bit behind me and let me, because Ray was class of the field. If he got out by himself, it was hostile bye, see you later. That whole second run, I think he was just messing with me by staying on my bumper for 30 laps, whatever it was, just having a good time with it. So me and Ray were out there just having a good time. Chris was having a good time. We've all been talking about it already. Man, the only thing different I could have done is navigate some lap traffic a little bit better. That one hurt, but still, man, just a fun race. This is probably the most fun second place I've ever got.
There you have it, man. Congratulations on second place finish. It was definitely fun to watch, and almost got that fourth win and break the three-way tie between you, Chris Carroll, and heck, somebody else. I'm sure I'm just blanking on the next name, but
I think Bedwell's the other one, isn't he?
Bedwell's got the one. It may be McLean with 3 wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah, break that tie, get you that fourth win, set yourself apart. But regardless, second place finish, pretty dang good. That was a lot of fun to watch. You top 3 were definitely the class of the field. So, man, congratulations always, man. The floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Man, I want to thank you up in the booth. Just love going back and watching these races. I think Kyle Roberts Leather does something around here. I can't remember what everybody does, but Kinder Farm and Ranch for the starting grid for the league stuff. Chuck Pegleg Felts, Jimmy over at Apex for making this whole thing, letting us run his name, have a good time with it, and hopefully put on a good show for him. Personal side, I got to thank Kinder Farm and Ranch just like always, along with Ratchet Speed Shop. Just great guys. They've already been texting me, telling me good job, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Ratchet was telling me good save, and I went a little bit sideways to the infield. Luckily, that caution came out and saved me. Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers. If you want to keep your stuff hot and keep your stuff cold for cheaper and longer than anybody else, make sure to check out Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers at bigfrig.com. Ray Page over at Wolfpack Racing, great guy to know. I've told you that numerous times, Eddie. All my teammates over here, man. Aaron's running the league and the head honcho of the team I'm on over at Poleman Motorsports. So pretty good showing tonight. I think we all had a lot of fun. All my short tracking guys over at Velocity. Man, it's a blast. This is probably the most fun I've had doing truck racing in a long time. So big shout out to everybody in the field.
Well, there you have it, man. Love to hear having fun. That's what it's all about. That's why we show up and race. And so that is your second place finisher, Garrett Kinder. Let's go ahead and get our race winner in here and talk to him, Ray Rogers. Ray, this Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, I talked a little bit about you before the race. It was like, man, if Ray Rogers could ever just qualify, what was he starting the back for and run up there and finish fifth every race? If he just start up front, maybe he can get something done. And dadgum, if you didn't do it tonight, started outside the front row. And, man, I felt like you had the truck to beat. You seemed like you had more pace than just about anybody. You even was kind of playing with your food a little bit on that second run, running behind Garrett Kinder, and then come away with the victory. So congratulations, man. What do you talk a little bit about your race? How do you feel like it went? Yeah, just tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was the most fun I've ever had. I mean, in a race, it really was. And but I was very confident coming in here. I mean, I feel that I'm pretty good at this track, and I just had to be patient. Not really blow my tires up or anything like that. But I just ran behind Garrett for the longest time, just rattle his cage a little bit just to see, if I could get him to make a mistake or anything, but he didn't. So I had to force the issue a little bit and try to go around him. We had a good battle, and once I was out in front, it was pretty much see you later.
Well, and the trucks. I mean, we know that Dirty Air at this track specifically, for the Xfinity and Cup cars, pretty tough. How bad was it tonight in the truck?
It wasn't bad at all. For me, it wasn't anyway, because matter of fact, me and Garrett was just talking about that before you pulled him up there. It was actually perfect for me because in 1 and 2, he would run like a half a lane up, and I would run the bottom. So he would have clean air. I would actually have a little bit of clean air. So we ran our lines perfectly. It was really not an issue whatsoever throughout the whole entire race.
Well, I mean, I don't think Dirty Air would have mattered. You seemed like you were the class of the field. There at the end, a little bit of lap traffic. I would have loved to have seen, you try to get around a hot-headed Garrett Kinder at the end, but able to sneak through there with that lap traffic and get out ahead and win the race. Definitely the best truck won tonight. So, man, congratulations on a win. Started up front, got you a win. Doesn't surprise anyone one bit. So congratulations, Ray, as always. Who you got to thank?
I haven't been in this thing so long, so I can't remember all the sponsors. I know Apex. I want to thank them. I know Garrett, Chuck, but I cannot remember all of them. And me and Garrett was just talking about it. They don't have a listing of them. So I'm just going to say thanks to all the sponsors that sponsored this league, including Aaron, that puts it on for us. So thank every one of those guys. And thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to broadcast these things, because I enjoy going back, tomorrow and watching it all. So thank you for that. And I just absolutely had a blast.
All right. Well, there you have it. Ray Rogers, just having fun, man. I love to hear that. As that is the name of the game when it comes to iRace. I want to thank Poman Motorsports for the post-race show and post-race interviews. I want to thank them. We got some awards we have to give out. The Hard Charger Award, of course, is going to go to Chris Bedwell. Aaron Adcock. Sorry about that. He is got 7 positions from where he started, finishing that 5th position. So Aaron Adcock going to be your Kyle Roberts Handmade Leather Hard Charger Award winner. It's a mouthful. As far as the Jammed Up Award presented by Trigger Time Indoor Shooting Range, none other than Chris McLean, who just couldn't get in. I was having monitor issues. Got in a little bit late, ran some laps. It just was so far behind. It was 79 laps. He was behind about 28 whenever he got back in. So he is definitely going to be your Jammed Up Award winner. But let's see, who else we got? I think that's it. I mean, we talked about the Chuck Peg Leg Pole Award. We'll get him up on screen, give him a little bit of love. And, of course, the Low Cash Motorsports starting grid, which, if I'm honest, it could be a little bit bigger. How about that right there? I mean, low cash, but let's get some high res on that logo there. But I want to thank all those sponsors. And of course, man, Apex, man. Got to thank Jimmy over at Apex. He does so. It's awesome for him to let Aaron use his logo, his name, and we just want to make sure that let y'all know. Go check them out, man. Go check out Button Boxes. We got all kinds of things for you, sim rig. If you're thinking about it, you got to think Apex first. Go check them out. High quality work. You know, sometimes, yeah, you can maybe cheapen out a little bit on some things, get some cheaper stuff. But to get some good handmade quality equipment, look no further than Apex Sim Racing, man. That's where you'll want to go. So go check Jimmy out. ApexSimRacing.com. Well, a fantastic race. The points are updated. We'll take a look at those real quick. I'll kind of just spout them out at you. Chris Bedwell solidifies himself with Chris McLean having so much trouble as the regular season points leader. With that one win, he's 39 points ahead of second place Chris McLean. Charles Stevens is in third. Kip easily holds on to that fourth position, and Garrett Kinder jumps up over Daniel Holcroft, who was out tonight. Miss him. And he is in the top 5. So, man, it's getting tight up there at the point standings as this Apex series gets towards the playoffs. We'll check the standings here, or the schedule, excuse me. You see Nashville, we're going to Mid-Ohio, a little bit of road course action, and then Pocono, Richmond to set the playoff field. And then you see the run of playoff races that we'll have. So, want to thank everybody for watching. Thank all of our sponsors. I'm Eddie Smith, and man, we had a great night tonight. Congratulations again to Ray Rogers, showing them how it's done. But we'll see you next week. Looking forward to it. Y'all have a good night.